There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
And what was the reason you wrote this book?
Yes. So as you said, I host the podcast Relatable. We talk about theology, culture, news, politics. The point is to try to look at everything that's going on in the world and fit it into a biblical perspective. So I talk to a lot of people. I talk to people like you. I talk to different politicians. And we also, on our own, we analyze everything that's going on through the truth of God's word. And a couple of years ago, when I started the podcast, a lot of my female listeners were asking me about this idea of self-love, that they had seen professing Christian teachers talk about the importance of loving yourself, and actually that you can't love other people until you love yourself. And so I started to get quite a few questions asking me, okay, is this biblical? It sounds good. It kind of feels good. It feels empowering to think that self-love is the key to my happiness, and self-love is the key to purpose and truth and wisdom and all of these things. But is that really true? And of course, as you and I know, it's not true. But what I found in my research is that this idea that self-love is the prerequisite to all of your life's success and fulfillment is not a new idea. It's been around a long time. And especially over the past few decades in psychology, this idea that self-esteem is the only way for you to be a healthy, fulfilled person. But it has seeped into the evangelical church, and particularly into women's ministries. And it comes in the form of Jesus says to love your neighbor as yourself, which means that loving yourself is the prerequisite to loving other people. And the definition of loving yourself is not a biblical definition that's typically propagated, but one that is very superficial, that literally just says that you have to look in the mirror and you like what you see. You have to believe that you are some awesome, empowering, successful, ambitious woman, and that all your dreams are going to come true if you just put your mind to it and you put yourself first. Well, what I found is that also, not just that this is an old idea that is everywhere, that is very pervasive, but also that a lot of the women who are propagating this idea and a lot of the women who are buying into this idea are not happy. So they're talking about the importance of happiness. They're talking about the importance of self-love. Not only are they still very openly and publicly dealing with feelings of self-loathing, self-deprecation, a lot of times their relationships are broken and unhealthy. And that satisfaction that they are guaranteeing to other people, if they just read their book, if they follow their self-love program, they actually aren't experiencing themselves. And they chalk it up to, well, it's just a process. Self-love is just a process, and I will eventually get the fulfillment that self-love promises me once I realize how awesome I am. Once I manifest my awesomeness, then I will finally be happy. But it looked like it was never happening. And